We're doing something a little bit different tonight. This is going to be a new segment where it's going to be called NOX Night In. I'm James.
And I'm Ben.
And today we're going to watch, or I should say tonight, is The Howling. This is directed by who, Ben?
Joe Dante.
Joe Dante.
Yes, who also did Small Soldiers and Gremlins. I'm sure a bunch of other masterpieces that I have yet to see. But we should talk about a little bit why we're doing this tonight. This is kind of impromptu, we went to go see, was it Trap?
Trap, the new M. Night Shyamalan. That was going to be our episode for the week.
Mm-hmm.
And the AC was off in the theater. And we live in Arizona, so...
It's like 115 out today.
Yeah, so we weren't going to do that.
Too hot.
How's it going?
The theater we're in is no AC.
No AC.
Yeah, I'm not going to...
Wow.
Yeah, we can't do without AC.
Crazy.
Got you.
Max was there. He did join us. He's not joining us tonight.
Mm-hmm.
But he's in spirit with us.
May he rest in peace. And it was just kind of one of those nights where it's like, well, let's just do an old-fashioned movie night, kind of like what NOX is all about. Like, let's go pick out a movie. We actually went to Zia Records. We got a physical copy of this movie. And we're like, let's get some Mexican food and go back and watch it and chill.
The Howling, werewolf movie.
Yep.
Big fan of werewolf movies, monster movies in general.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know anything about this.
I know nothing. And what's cool is I actually have a copy of this as well. Not the Sweet Steelbook edition, but I do have the Shout Factory edition. Have not watched it. Haven't even opened it. So pretty stoked.
I don't know who's in this at all. Okay, so from the back of the case, there's at least 2 werewolves.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to say there's 3 because of the big guy here.
I'm going to keep eating. Hope you guys... Would you like some?
So my prediction, shoot, man, I don't know. It's gonna be a typical werewolf. I'm in a couple's camping because I see a boy and a girl right here in the case.
It's like mid 80s, right?
I believe so. I think 81.
Ooh, early.
So it'll be 80s.
Okay.
So couple camping. They were probably told not to camp at this site, but they do it anyways. And they hear some strange noises, hear some howling in the night. Boyfriend goes checks it out. Doesn't come back for a while. Find out that he's attacked by a wolf. Gets hurt pretty bad.
You sure you haven't seen this?
I don't know. There's a lot. That's what I'm thinking. His girlfriend finds him, wakes up in the hospital, and then he starts acting differently. And he slowly transforms into this werewolf. I don't know what the climax will be, but I think that's how the movie's going to start.
We love a good climax. I'm gonna say it's a camp. Teenagers at a camp. One of the camp counselors gets bit by a werewolf and has a transformation, and they have to survive in the woods at this camp. At least one lovemaking scene, but I don't think it's going to be gratuitous because Joe Dante, I feel like, is he's more wholesome.
Yeah.
You know? I think it'll be a little more tame. We might see a nipple, but I don't think it'll be over the top. A fair amount of violence. Backwoods hillbilly guys that we think are bad guys, but they end up helping them out. I could be way off, but that's the fun of NOX. But I'm excited because I love the era and we love horror films.
And Joe Dante.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to finish our food, watch the movie, and let you guys know what we think afterwards.
Let's get it. right, so here we are on the set, a little impromptu mini episode after NOX Night In, NOX Night In, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, so I wish I had the last hour and a half back in my life.
Yeah. I told Ben this too. I'm like, should I keep the movie or should I return it?
Yeah.
Because there is some redeeming values to the movie, but not a lot.
Well, we found the best character, the best actor in that film was Dennis Dugan. Dennis Dugan, insert picture here, he played, I forget the character's name, but he is an iconic director, and he has also appeared in quite a few films that you're familiar with. Just to name a few, he directed Happy Gilmore, he directed Big Daddy, he directed Saving Silverman, he directed The Benchwarmers, I Now Pronounce You Chuck and Larry, You Don't Mess with the Zohan, Grown Ups, Jack and Jill, That's My Boy, Grown Ups 2. Those are acting roles, but he also directed most of those as well. And yeah, this guy is a big Sandler collaborator.
Yeah, big time. This is why I want to keep it, just to have a Dennis Dugan movie.
And he also directed Saving Silverman. I don't know if I mentioned that or not.
No, you did not.
But yeah, just an icon. And looking at him, I recognized him. I was like, I've seen this guy in a lot of stuff before, but I couldn't put my finger on it. But he's like a character actor in a bunch of Sandman films and an iconic freaking writer and director. So shout out to Dennis Dugan, the pretty much only redeeming part of this film, in my opinion, along with the knockoff Elvira chick with the rockin' bod. Mm. She was the NOX hottie in this film. But aside from that, dude, if this were a Cutting the Cult episode, I would say this belongs on the cutting room floor. But it didn't have quite enough to keep me interested, man. I'm surprised it got like a Shout Factor release and so many people like this movie, because to me it kind of felt just like kind of a waste of time.
Yeah, I mean, it took 40, I think we tracked it out, 42 minutes to actually see the werewolf.
Yeah.
Which is insane for a werewolf movie for me.
Yeah.
I believe the best part of these movies were I mean, the transformation was really cool. It was really sexy, but it was really lengthy. It was super long. I think the top scene, I think you would agree with me, is when one of the wolves gets his hand cut off and it like transforms back into human. Mm-hmm. The practical effects were really cool in that.
They were good.
The entire movie like had really cool practical effects, and then it went to some weird claymation parts in there. I don't know why, but they could have just used the costumes. Plenty of costumes, you could tell.
It did have some good effects. I'll give it that. And like you said, a pretty good score. A bit organ heavy though.
Yeah.
Alternate castings. Let me pull up the cast real quick. All right, so Dee Wallace, Karen White, the character of Karen White. She was also the mother in E.T., which we didn't know, and she was in a whole bunch of other things. Personally, no offense to the actress herself, but I just didn't find her character very interesting. I didn't think she was a good lead at all. If I had to recast her, I was thinking like Linda Hamilton would be a good choice, of Terminator fame. Dennis Dugan, we love Dennis Dugan, but if we had to recast him, you were saying...
I said James Woods. He just looked like him in a way.
I agree. And then we'll say Christopher Stone, who was William Bill Neal. The first person I thought of was Charles Bronson when I saw him.
And then we agree with Tom Atkins.
Yeah, definitely. And then the other guy that we liked in there was Dick Miller, Walter Paisley, a longtime Joe Dante collaborator.
Big time collaborator.
He had a very... Sorry, go ahead.
I'm sorry. He's been in all his movies. I was looking through his IMDb. He's literally in his last project too. He was still in there. Yeah. He's an older dude too. Still
he kicking. Is. I'm glad he's still kicking, because to me, aside from Dennis Dugan, all due respect, we love Dennis Dugan. Dick Miller, fantastic actor, and in this one, very underutilized. I think he should have been one of the main guys, because to me, one of the best actors. Like I was looking at this guy, and he was the pawn shop owner in Terminator. Big fan.
He was the neighbor in Gremlins.
Yes. And just a great character actor. And for some reason, I had thought he'd been in like a Twilight Zone episode. I guess not. Maybe that's a man.
I think he was in a Creep Show. I have to look at it again. I think that's what it was.
That would make sense. But maybe it's a Mandela effect. I thought he was in Twilight Zone. But yeah, shout out to Dick Miller. Amazing. He's still doing his thing for an older guy. Good for him. But yeah, just a super talented character actor, and I'd like to see more of his stuff, because he's really good, and he has a tendency to kind of steal scenes.
Yeah, he did
in a good way. Like the attention is just drawn to him, so it's the sign of a good actor. Like they say, there are no small roles, right? So that's a prime example.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But let's say, what were your 3 things you liked about this movie?
Well, like I said earlier, the practical effects are really cool. The visuals are cool. I don't know, like you said, angelic, and I guess in a way.
Yeah, the actual film, and I would assume the filters that they used had like a warmth.
Yeah,
Like anytime you'd see light, cutting through the woods or anything, it had like a halo effect around it, and there was this warm quality, especially, excuse me again, especially in the beginning of the film in the city. Like everything kind of had this like dreamlike warmth and glow to it that I really liked, and I thought it looked really good as a film.
yeah. The sets also locations. I think you were telling me there was like 6 or 7 locations.
Yeah, mostly California.
Yeah, Northern California.
Yeah, Northern California along the coast, and then they filmed a few scenes in LA, but most of it was like Northern California.
Yeah, it was a very pretty film,
Yeah.
overall, but just story wasn't there. It took
Yeah.
too long to get to the werewolves, and I didn't really understand the main plot of this. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, if you were to put it together, like, what would you think this? What was it about?
I would say a news anchor, who's originally like stalked by a murdering werewolf, gets like some PTSD from an incident with said werewolf, and her shrink tells her to go to the woods to relax. And when she gets there, she just encounters more werewolves, and it takes an eternity to actually see the werewolves.
Yeah. Our predictions were off, by the way.
Oh yeah, our predictions were way off.
I mean, they were in the woods.
Yes.
Hey, well, you did put out there will be some hillbillies. We did see some hillbillies.
I was correct on I was half correct on the hillbillies. They didn't end up helping them, but there were hillbillies. So hey, score 1 for the home team. But there was no camp. Unfortunately, there were no camp counselors. We did see more than one nipple. We saw full frontal nudity,
which is very surprising for a Joe Dante movie. For me,
Yeah.
I mean, he did a lot of like, I guess you would say family movies.
Yeah, Small Soldiers, Gremlins. Yeah,
Black Two's back in action.
Oh yeah, classic. But yeah, she was gorgeous, no complaints. But it was surprising for Joe Dante,
Yeah.
But
His earlier movies were like that, I guess.
yeah, but aside from that, yeah, I'll agree with you. The practical effects were, good, not as good as like American Werewolf in London, but they were good. I would say, yeah, the setting was really nice. Definitely, they did a good job with like the cabin in the woods, and the set design was good. And then, yeah, I'll agree, cinematography was solid, definitely. But aside from that, yeah, this is a miss from me. This is one that, I mean, if you're curious, and you like horror and you want to, say that you're an aficionado, yeah, go ahead and watch it and say that you saw it. But for me, this is a one-time watch.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. One-time watch. I mean, it's a sick case, a sick cover.
It is a sick case. Yeah. They have to have a sick case because it's missing substance.
Yeah, I think I might hold on to it just for the whole aspect of Dennis Dugan, and I am a collector. Just Shout Factory, Scream Factory movies.
Yeah.
So I'll probably hold on to it. But
if you wanted a better werewolf movie, I would say American Werewolf in London,
Dog Soldiers,
and heck, Teen Wolf.
Yeah, Teen Wolf's fun.
Teen Wolf's fun.
Yeah, boy, Michael J.
Yeah, but as far as alternate casting director, if I had to pick, we agreed John Carpenter would be solid. But yeah, not a lot of good things I could say about this movie. I think a lot of people who are like, "Oh, The Howling is a classic," are probably just kind of hipster film students. No offense if you like it, I'm glad you found some enjoyment from it if you did. But for me, I thought this was just kind of a waste of time and a waste of film, honestly.
Yeah.
So if I had to give this a rating, boy, I mean, to be honest, like the beginning did hold my attention. It was a nice looking film. They tried, but the script was pretty lacking. And yeah, I would give this, I would say, 2 out of 5. I got to go 2 out of 5. And I didn't like hate it, but it's just, even when there was action, I had already checked out. I was kind of like half paying attention.
It took too long. Man.
Yeah.
It took way too long.
So yeah, I'm going to say 2 out of 5.
Yeah, I agree with you. I'm going to give it a 2.5 out of 5.
Okay.
Just for Dennis Dugan, and then the transformations. Like, I think it was really cool. Like
all those 2 stars,
all the practical effects. Yeah.
All the 2 stars are just for Dennis Dugan, the nudity, and the cinematography. That's it. But yeah, this one, I gotta say it kind of sucked. I'm sorry to the guys out there who love it. Forgive me. Feel free to fight in the comments. That's cool. But I thought it kind of sucked. I would much rather watch American Werewolf in London, or Teen Wolf, or Dog Soldiers, or even the old Lon Chaney Wolfman. Yeah. Was it Lon Chaney or Lon Chaney Jr.?
Wow.
I think it was Lon Chaney Jr. was the Wolfman. Let's see. Anyway, but yeah, it is what it is. I'm glad we watched it. Glad we checked it out. Cool to see more Shout Factory stuff, but this is a miss for me.
Yep, miss for me as well.
Yes. No, what's kind of interesting though, next movie we're gonna review, also a Joe Dante film.
Mm-hmm. Small Soldiers.
Small Soldiers. So check that out. Me and Max actually did a movie night. We did our own NOX Night In and watched it, and it was super fun when James was out of town. But that's a favorite. Like, that is just an absolute favorite, and I can't wait to discuss it on the next episode.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to watching it.
Heck yeah. Any closing thoughts?
No, just as always, guys, just leave a comment, leave some recommendations on movies that we should watch, and just subscribe,
Yeah. I also wanted to say, just for historical significance, as of the recording of this, well, technically yesterday now, it's past midnight, Aerosmith actually broke up. And they retired from touring. So
yeah,
who knows if maybe in the future we'll get another Aerosmith album, but I doubt it. But I just wanted that, recorded for posterity, that kind of end of an era for a band that we love. And we both had the pleasure of meeting Joe Perry, which is pretty amazing. Probably about, what would you say, maybe like 12 years ago, something like that?
I want to say 2015.
Okay. Yeah.
I was really thin back then.
Yeah, we were still babies. I was thinner too. But anyway, shout out to Aerosmith. Much better than the Howling.
Agreed.
Anyway, so be kind,
rewind,
and subscribe. Thanks for watching, guys.
Bye.
Oh, oh, Miss Veronica Vaughn, so hot.
You're flying, Buzz.
Don't you guys usually use a dog?
I'm really hoping for a werewolf soon.
Not yet.
That's like 30 minutes in.
I'm hoping the second half will just be a ton of werewolves. The build-up is good, though. We'll see.
And right now, I'm like, I kind of want to return it.
Yeah, it's okay. So yeah, we're at the 37-minute mark, and yeah, it's holding my interest, but my patience is starting to wear a little thin. I'm kind of like, all right, let's get on with it. Let's get some werewolves, but yeah, I don't know, man. And you kind of have some expectations, even though we're supposed to have no expectations. Like Joe Dante, werewolves, 80s. It's like Shout Factory, But yeah, let's keep going and see what happens. But okay, spoiler alert, potentially. We think she's going to transform into a werewolf on the news. So, we'll see. Hey, we were right.
Make you believe.
Score 1.
Oh my goodness, the girls, the two girls.